So this is the last film we get the same fucking gun barrel.
Yeah, it annoys me because they're all ever so slightly different.
This one's kind of bopping though. No lie.
No, shut the fuck up.
What?
It had like the dots, except not the multicolored dots, but it had the dots from the Doctor No the dots from the Doctor No gun barrel.
What? Yeah, but it just has the Bond theme playing over it.
Yeah, but it doesn't have the boom.
Yeah, they didn't have they didn't have that in Russia with Love either. It was just the Bond theme.
No, but they didn't have the dots as far as I remember.
Yes, they did. The white dots are in every gun barrel sequence.
No, because they even have.
Kai,
shut up.
You're really going to argue with me about this.
Yes,
I can tell you.
They're
in every single gun barrel sequence. Anyway, so but that's enough. That's enough of you talking.
Okay.
The pre-title sequence, which we open up onto. So there's like two genres of pre-title sequence, right? There's one that's tied directly to the narrative. It's like basically they open the film, they start the plot, and then they just pause it temporarily for the titles, and they go back to it. Or they have a standalone pre-title sequence like this one, where it's completely unrelated to the narrative. And then we have the titles happen, and then the main story starts, which is what's happened here. So some people have a preference. To me, I don't really care as long as it's fun. But it's just nice to be thrown into like an adventure that's already going on. You don't know what's happening. It's just a nice bit of adrenaline to start off with.
What would you count From Russia with Love says?
No, that's a narrative one. I mean, it introduces Ray Grant.
Good, yeah, I was going to say that sounds like it. This cold open, it gave me a bunch of nostalgia because I've obviously seen it before.
It's like the epitome of Bond. I mean, he comes up. How would you like a little pigeon on his head?
I had no idea. Like, why do you need that as a disguise? Just be underwater.
It's not necessary, but it's just a fun little. Well, not necessarily. You could maybe see the reflection, but it's nighttime though, and he's wearing a black suit.
Just use the periscope that they had,
in the tunnels in Istanbul.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really know what the story is. He's like blowing up some like heroin tanks, I think, or something. He said.
Oh, I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's just like him doing casual spy shit.
Yeah, he puts some C4 down, and he takes off his suit he takes it as a pristine white suit underneath.
Yeah, Temple of Doom.
Yeah, that's the reference. So you get that obviously. There's the explosion, which is actually looks pretty good, surprisingly. I thought.
Not like the Technicolor nightmares of last movie.
Yeah, the rave. The rave is over. It's cancelled.
Rave in the Redwoods.
No.
Rave in the Redwoods.
But then, so what? He goes back to his room, right, with the lady in the bath.
Yeah, who's she?
That's the whole point. Is what I'm saying. We don't know what's going on. We're just thrown into an adventure that's we're in the middle of it.
Oh, okay, but so obviously that guy starts sneaking up. Did she? Because she sees him. Is she too scared to say anything, or is she like a bad guy?
I think she's in with it. Yeah. And how dumb is it that they edit him in her eye? That's so stupid.
Yeah, I know Bond's great at his job, but nobody can do that. That's stupid.
I guess they felt they needed to justify it, but they could have just had him I could have believed that he just hurt him. Honestly, the fight's pretty good, and then it ends with him tossing the fan in the bath.
I like that they're continuing having nice weighted fight scenes.
Yeah, it's a pretty good fight, and then it ends with the shocking, positively shocking. That's such an iconic line. Oh my god.
Shocking, positively shocking.
It's funny because they sort of call back to that line as well at the end with Oddjob.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true.
It's in the same way that in the last movie, the cold open foreshadowed the final fight. It happened again.
Oh my god, you're right. I never even put that together.
Well, when I say
you
final
using your
fight,
film degree,
the train fight.
Then so yeah, this song is so iconic. It still gets played on the radio all the time. It's really good. And the titles, this is the same guy's last one. You can tell because it's the projection again, but these are way cooler than From Russia with Loves, honestly.
So my thoughts on that are that it's simultaneously an evolution of it, because instead of having even though I really liked the From Russia with Love titles, but at times it was hard to read the names and stuff.
Well, it's a smart evolution because instead of projecting the letters onto the people, they project it like shots and scenes from the film and from previous films, and the letters are static on the side.
Yeah, and it looks really good as well. I don't know how they got it to look. It didn't have any right, just looking as if it was actually on her body.
And it's it also shows the golden girl, which is a bit of a spoiler for the next few minutes, but
I guess you don't know the context for that at the time.
No, the same thing with the scenes they're showing. Like, they show Mr. Solo being driven away, I think, and some other shots that are, like, you have no context for. So, yeah, you're right. They don't mean anything. But, yeah, they're awesome. Robert Brownjohn, he just did these two, and then he's gone. Oh, well, actually, we have to talk about the first new director, which is Guy Hamilton. Definitely a different vibe from him.
In Miami, every time they were outside, it was like a massively obvious green screen.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, because they shot at the Fontainebleau Hotel in Miami, obviously. And I think, excuse me, I think the guy who plays Leiter, we in the New Felix Leiter, we'll talk about him, but I think it's Sess Linder. He's actually there, I think. But I think Connery was never there. Because his scenes are always shot from the other side. He's with the girl, Dink.
Yeah, at first I thought Connery was there, and then he wasn't. But I think what you said is the correct thing.
Yeah, I don't think he was ever there. I don't know why they did that, but I think they probably I think all the shots of Leiter there are he's just walking around. So there's inserts basically.
There was a callback to From Russia with Love's proper opening where they're playing chess.
They're playing gin.
They're what?
Oh, you mean would you saw people playing chess in Miami?
Are they not? No, are they not playing chess?
No, Goldfinger's playing cards with the other. I think he's playing gin.
Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, let's go back and say there's a nice callback to From Russia with Love where they're playing a game at the start of the movie again.
So let's talk about Leiter. We only see him very briefly here, but how do you think about the new Felix?
So he's a different actor.
Yeah, really? You didn't know that?
No,
he's totally different. Attention. He looks totally different. The first time I saw Leiter, it was Jack Lord in Dr. No, and he was like as cool as Bond. This guy's like Bond's dad.
I liked him a lot. Because even though he's not in it as much, he filled in that sort of like ally role that Quarrel and Harambe were.
Yeah, they had good camaraderie, I'd say. Yeah, I think that he's the only American in the film that isn't depicted like an idiot, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, true.
But then there's that. We talk about the bit where Leiter first shows up to Bond and Bond's getting a massage, and he slaps the girl on the ass and said "man talk." That is so bad.
Man talk.
This Bond definitely not a feminist.
So what? Leiter gives Bond his mission, right, to suss out Goldfinger. So then he goes up. I love when he goes up to the maid and just takes the key off of her side, opens the door.
She doesn't even know how to react.
Yeah, that's such a Bond moment. But then we meet Jill. But I noticed there's some really bad ADR on her mouth. I don't think her voice isn't dubbed, but the ADR doesn't really match. They really struggle with that shit in these early movies, man. And it really just cheapens the whole experience for me. It's like they don't even she's clearly saying totally different lines. It must be that they they changed the lines to fit with the narrative or something better. I don't really know, but it's just so obvious.
So I guess he thinks you want it.
But on one hand, that's really bad. But on the other hand, some of the dubbing is incredible because Goldfinger is dubbed the entire time, and it's almost not even noticeable that he's dubbed. They did it perfectly.
Yeah, I could tell he was dubbed, but you're right. It was done in such a way that I could only tell because I'm looking for that stuff.
Yeah, no joke. I didn't know he was dubbed until maybe a couple years ago. I thought for my whole life that he wasn't dubbed because they do it so obviously I'm just thinking that the ADR is fucked up compared to some of the other stuff, like compared to all the females sounding like in the previous film sounding like Honey Rider. This is a massive improvement.
How did you feel about having the villain introduced straight away and we basically know what's happening the entire time, whereas Dr. No, we didn't see him until way later?
I think it depends on what sort of villain you're going for. If you're going for the menacing villain, then it works better to reveal him later. And you have him pulling the strings. But if you're going for just over the top, because Goldfinger's the first of his kind, of that really just over the top, ridiculous Bond villain, the gluttonous sort of monster.
Yeah.
So if you have that sort of character, bring him out up front, and then we can just have some fun time with him,
it was odd. Unless I missed something, this is the first Bond that doesn't deal with anything to do with Spectre.
Well, yeah. Yeah, there's nothing to do with Spectre. It's a totally isolated thing.
Yeah, which is interesting. I thought there was going to be a reveal like that he was doing all of this, or he'd got his bomb from.
I mean,
Spectre.
if this movie was made in the 2000s, then there absolutely would have been. But
I like that he literally cheats at cards, he cheats at goal. It shows he's just like really kind of.
He's pathetic.
Yeah, he's pathetic, but he's petty. Yeah, he's petty.
Yeah, you're supposed to feel that way about him.
No, but that's a good characterization.
Basically, he'll do whatever he has to do to win.
Yeah. So Bond meets Binoculars, cheaty lady.
Yeah, that's Jill Masterson. That's
yeah, and he does his thing.
Bond. James Bond.
Yeah, but before they go to sleep. Oh no, this is.
I don't know if they go to. I don't know how long they're there. Oh no, what it is he gets up to get a drink before they go back.
Yeah, yeah, and there's this. You want to talk about this really weird line that they have?
Sure.
About the champagne. Did you catch this?
He like names the champagne, and I was going to ask you if you knew.
No, not even that. Well, it's Dom Perignon, 53 or 57 or something. But he says, there's some things in life one just doesn't do, and he's like, such as drinking Dom Perignon 53 at a temperature above whatever Celsius. And then he says, that's as bad as listening to the Beatles without earmuffs.
Oh yeah, that was a really.
Isn't that a weird dig?
Yeah, because you know me, I barely use like earphones or whatever. So I was like, is it attacking me personally?
So that's when we see Oddjob Shadow, and then he knocks out Bond.
Oh, Oddjob's the Fat Controller.
It's so true. That's so true.
Yeah, that was really odd because then he knocks out Bond and then kills that girl. But wasn't that girl working for Goldfinger? Is that why Goldfinger kills her?
Well, he knows that she betrayed him. Yeah, the Golden Girl iconography. Oof. I mean, they homage that. Fuck off. They reference that in Quantum.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they do it with oil instead of gold. But yeah, I mean, that's so iconic. Oh my god. So what happens after that? Is it back to MI6 then?
It cuts straight to MI6 because
that's a good M scene.
It's funny because compared to the other MI6 scenes, you start off with M basically saying to Bond what the deal is, and like Bond's kind of angry, and you can tell whatever this situation is, it's a bit unprecedented because it's like, I guess it's not an overarching adventure like Spectre stuff, so it's like, okay, we got to do this and this. Can we meet me? And like,
yeah, it's a bit of a revenge plot actually for Bond.
Yeah, M invites him to dinner, and before
with the banker guy, I guess he's the chief of the Bank of England, I guess, probably.
But before they actually go, he has a little brief scene with Moneypenny.
I love when she takes his hat. She takes his hat and throws it and lands perfectly on the thing.
Doesn't she do that in? No, he does that in.
No, he does it all the time.
Doctor No, yeah. But it's funny because even though yes, that happens all the time, it also references Oddjob.
True.
So Bond and M are out to dinner with that banker, and it's kind of interesting because we've never seen Bond in a setting yet where his boss is the one who's got the reins of the situation.
Except for the brandy.
The what?
Except for the brandy.
Well, what's the matter with it?
I'd say it was a 30-year-old fiend indifferently blended, sir.
M thinks it's good, but they both realize it's not that good.
Oh, shut up. It's funny because you can tell at first Bond's a bit nervous because he's like, I don't know, he's sitting there and he's like almost squirming. I'd be uncomfortable if I
there's so many scenes, like especially in the Roger Moore era, that they're notorious for like, Bond, what do you know about this? Or what do you know about gold? What do you know about diamonds? What do you know about spaceships or whatever? And then Bond goes off for a minute and like lists every fact you can possibly think of about the subject. Which is like, the Roger Moores are notorious for that, but he doesn't really do that here. Connery does that later on. Yeah, it's nice to see. It's nice when exposition is like the characters learning as well as the audience,
So the bank is giving him that block of that bar of gold, and it's like Nazi gold.
It was like a lost Nazi deposit or something that was like on a ship that sank or something, I think. kind of blew my mind. He said that was only worth £5,000, but I guess now that's a lot.
Like,
that's a lot more now, obviously. So
yeah, I guess £5,000 was
that was a
a lot back then, whereas now it's not much.
Then Q Branch.
Oh, I loved Q Branch. I really like everything that's like there's experiments and stuff and new gadgets in the background, like that guy with the bulletproof vest and stuff.
They get so much funnier as time goes on, and then it peaks at GoldenEye when there's the craziest shit going on in the background.
Okay.
There's like guys getting launched and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean that's again the iconography, but we have Q actually as a character for once.
Yeah,
he actually has. He very much has a lot of disdain for Bond. You can clearly tell.
Yeah, you can tell he gets really mad that Bond breaks all his gadgets in the field.
And we get the most iconic Bond, honestly, the most iconic car in all of cinema, probably, or at least one of.
Yeah, Aston Martin DB5. Buy the Lego set right now.
And all the gadgets within, oil slick.
Yeah,
bulletproof window.
I got like 10 questions to ask about. I got a few questions to ask about the gadgets. So he shows Bond like you flip up. I don't know what part of the car.
Yeah, the armrest.
Yeah, the armrest, and he's like this switches the oil slick. This switches the smoke screen. Well, he says in the whatever. He says this switches the smoke screen. This switches the oil slick, and then he skips over 2 switches and goes straight to other shit.
The machine guns.
Yeah. What were the other 2 switches that he doesn't talk about? Did they do the same thing? Are they smoke screen oil slick or what?
Well, there's a smoke screen oil slick. There's a shield that comes up in the back. There's 2 machine guns in the front.
Maybe, yeah.
And then there's the ejector seat in the ear liver.
That's funny. I mean, I'll mention it again when we finally get to it. It's the crappiest thing.
Well, come on.
No, but like the guy, I thought he was gonna go flying. He just comes out of the car. He's like, and then, that's it. The gadgets are cool, and I think they're not really hyper specific. They're just general things that you'd expect.
Yeah, in the car, yeah, but like
the same
tracker, the tracker too, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like the attaché case in the last movie was a similar thing where it was like a casual gadget and it's not hyper specific to see.
Yeah, I mean that's realistic.
So
I think the tracker. I like how the tracker has a little like section in his shoe that he sticks it in.
Yeah. So yeah, the Homer. So why is there a smaller one and why are they both magnetic?
The smaller one is for him, so they can track him. The bigger one is so you can stick it on somebody else and follow them.
Does he ever do that?
Yeah, he puts it in the back of the Rolls Royce, and that's how he tracks Goldfinger to his factory.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, and then he puts it in his shoe when.
Yeah.
So that Felix can track him when he gets to Oryx studs. I think the next thing is the golf scene. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he goes
I like the golf scene.
No, he goes to the golf thing because that's where he's supposed to bait Goldfinger with the gold bar.
Yeah, because he makes out initially as if he's doing a business transaction.
Yeah.
But then it becomes a wager. But what's really odd about that is, like, Oddjob obviously recognizes him, and Goldfinger probably knows about him too, so it was all pointless.
No, because Oddjob can't speak.
But I presume... I mean, I'll get to that, actually, but I presume Goldfinger knows about Bond.
No, he does.
Yeah.
Well, I think he does, but he doesn't mention it until after the game's over.
I like the stuff with the balls. How Oddjob blatantly helps him cheat, and then
he steps on the ball. That's so good.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to about. How is he immune if he is constantly going
Okay, it's fucking count.
What are they called? Slaz and Jawan.
Penfold arts. Yeah, I mean, he just can't speak. First of all, okay, let's talk about Oddjob. So hold on. Goldfinger and him meet at the golf course. They agree to have a game. Strict rules of golf.
Yeah.
And we meet Oddjob. Pretty effective introduction, except I've always found the hat to be pretty stupid. Even though it's so iconic, again, people love it. And it's the first real henchman sort of thing.
I think it's meant to kind of look a bit goofy.
Well, when he throws it, first of all, he takes a fucking statue's head off. Really? A fucking statue? I mean...
Yeah. Why is it a blade? It doesn't look sharp.
It falls on the ground and you see the bottom of it, and the blade doesn't even go to the rim of the hat. It's like inside the hat.
Oh.
It doesn't make any sense, but it's a fun little quirky thing.
Because later he kills
Jill, or no, Tilly.
Tilly Masterson's like it shows her, and it even particularly shows her neck, and it's fine. It's like, so
Yeah, that's
how did it
stupid. There's
kill
no
her?
blood or anything. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so like, did it just like hit her in the head? And I don't know. Oddjob crushes a golf ball in his hand, like
Oh yeah.
what a
Yep.
beefcake.
But then so Bond puts the tracker, the big boy tracker, in the Rolls Royce.
He tracks the car
Yeah, the
using
pursuit.
sort of short range radar all the way through Geneva. He gets the world's most angriest car driver keep honking at him.
Okay, so yeah, Tilly. Well, we don't know her name yet, but she shows up in the Mustang. So they all pull over. It's a really cool shot where they all pull over and they reach on different like mountains, like different
Yeah,
tiers.
I like that whole location.
And we get. I wrote here phase Tilly,
Oh.
but she's not making the cut because she literally almost kills Bond when she's shooting a Goldfinger.
Yeah, like I knew she just from guessing that she was trying to shoot Goldfinger instead, but I was like, how can you be that bad at the shot?
So they get back in their cars, and then when Bond and her are side by side, and he absolutely obliterates the side of her car with that little like razor thing, and then they have like the clunkiest looking crash. I mean, all of it, like she drives off the road, and then like they filmed it. I don't know how they filmed it, but she just stops all of a sudden when she pulls in the frame. Her neck would be in two pieces.
I don't.
If that happened in
I
real
thought that.
life.
I was like, there is absolutely no chance she wouldn't have whiplash and permanent neck damage. But
and the best part is when she gets out of the car and she just goes, "My tires," and like the entire side of the car is just egregiously looking wrecked.
Because whatever those like saw blade things that come out of the sides of the wheels, and they like destroyed both wheels, and she's not suspicious at all of that.
I like her character though.
Yeah,
I like how she cuts off Bond saying Bond, James Bond.
Yeah.
By the way, my name is Bond.
As quickly as possible.
This is probably a out there opinion, but I liked her better than Pussy Galore.
That's a fucking yikes. I don't agree with that.
I just did. I thought she had, like, in the end, Pussy Galore's the same old, she falls in love with Bond, so helps him. I liked Tilly Masterson. Like, she was just sort of a woman who happened to be, like, doing her own thing. And I guess she briefly takes on, instead of the Bond girl role, she takes on the ally role.
Yeah, we don't. It's not revealed who she is. That she's Jill's sister until they both show up at nighttime. But before that, when Bond is first staking out, he sees him smelting the Rolls Royce because the Rolls Royce is made of gold, and that's how he smuggles it across borders. But he also overhears Operation Grand Slam, which is very important.
He does eventually get captured, and Tilly gets killed.
Well, what happens there's a whole lot
chase.
that happens, yeah, because when Bond tackles Tilly, her sniper rifle hits the tripwire that's there.
Yeah.
Very, very clumsy, that whole thing.
But
yeah, so they get in the chase, good car chase with the Aston, and we see the gadgets at play.
There's that really weird old lady who.
Well, hold on. So they get captured, and Tilly gets killed, and then they're driving back to the Orc Enterprise. Then Bond escapes.
Oh yeah,
the
that's
ejector
when
seat.
he does the ejector seat finally.
Yeah, and then old lady MP40 comes out, starts cutting down the Aston Martin.
That was. So, who is she? Was she Goldfinger's mother?
I don't know, but she's living at the checkpoint. That's the weirdest thing. She has like a house there. That's so fucking weird.
That was. Yeah, I had no idea what to make of any of that.
So Bond drives into a wall because you can't see what's going on. Drives into a wall, then he's captured again. And then the iconic torture scene.
Oh, this torture scene! It literally. Yeah, you're right. It's more than iconic. It's
in the book. It's a buzzsaw, not a laser, but it's effective here because it also sets up what they're going to use later on at Fort Knox.
Yeah,
so that's
they
why
use it later on. It's weird because I'd say that laser is very science fiction-y, and I'd say it's like the first proper science fiction element in a Bond film.
It is, and it actually looks pretty good.
It does look pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, 1964, man. That's pretty good for 64.
Yeah, I agree.
You expect me to
better
talk?
than anything on Doctor Who at the time.
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Do you expect me to talk?
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Yeah, that's an iconic line as well. You hear that all the time. Like,
and then Bond gets out of it by saying, he knows what Operation Grand Slam is, which of course he doesn't. It's a big bluff.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it works.
I like that he gets out of it. Just not even because he's bluffing. The bluff's not even working, but it's more a case of. So he asks,
Goldfinger can't risk it.
yeah, he asks Goldfinger if he wants to take that chance, and it's like Goldfinger's already lost to Bond in the golf, so it's almost as if that informed his decision as well. Like maybe if he'd have lost that golf game, he'd have just killed Bond there and then. So then he wakes up on the plane and he
wakes up to a lovely face.
He like says something like when she says
must be dreaming.
I must be dreaming.
My name is Pussy Galore.
I must be dreaming.
I mean, that name is just.
I like that they don't bring it up after that, like as if that's a name.
Yeah, they just act like it's totally normal, a total normal name.
But it's obviously not because he makes a remark about it first. But
yeah, well, they're not going to keep beating around the bush. Get it?
Well, I think he is, but anyway.
I love the bit. There's so many good Bond moments in this movie. I love the bit where she says, "You can turn off the charm. I'm immune." And then Bond just looks down his drink and he slowly turns around to the hostess.
Yeah,
that's such a good moment. Oh my god.
I like when he's in the bathroom getting his suit on.
That's so good too.
Like she keeps looking through different peepholes, and he always has like a way to stop her. She looks
he puts the suitcase open. He sprays the shaving cream on the mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so good. I like the suit. He puts on this gray suit here. That's a good looking suit.
Yeah.
So they end up in Kentucky at Orc Studs.
Yeah, and then you keep seeing Felix and his friend at a Kentucky Fried Chicken.
At that time, KFC wasn't this big magnet that it is now. So it wasn't all over the world. So it was like a big, cool, very American thing to show. I think that Kentucky, one of my biggest problems with this movie is the locations, which I find are really bland. I think because, obviously I'm an American, so I don't find Kentucky to be an interesting location. I mean, it's very pretty, some of the places they go to. Like Orc Studs is very nice. It's just green, grassy, hilly, it's just whatever.
Yeah, those parts were nice, but like where Felix was, where it's the city.
Yeah, they just drive on the highway. Yeah, but it doesn't really hinder my enjoyment of the film. But it's something I noticed, considering we had very exotic locations for the last two.
What happens after the plane?
Well, we're introduced to Pussy Galore's flying circus.
I didn't really understand what the point of them was, because I know they're the ones who do the nerve gas, the dose the 9 or whatever it is later on, but why was that whole thing? They might as well have just had it be Pussy Galore who did the nerve gas.
Well, they needed a bunch of different people, otherwise they couldn't have done it if it was just the one plane dropping it. Then I think, what happens next? Then we have the gangsters. Man, this scene, the freaking stupid American gangsters.
Hang on. First, Bond gets thrown in like a jail cell, and
this is happening simultaneously.
Yeah. So before we talk about the gangsters, Bond when he's in, I can't even talk. The guard.
How stupid he is when he gets on the ceiling. That one.
Yeah, he
goes down like it's an elevator, and the guard's like, "Oh, is there actually an elevator in there?"
Yeah. And then, but how did he get on the roof?
Well, I can see that he just went sort of off to the side to climb up top.
I mean, yeah,
I think I thought I like the way he does it, but the fact that the guard is that stupid is ridiculous. I mean,
yeah, because the guard goes in and he's there for a good while before Bond does anything. So why doesn't he ever think, oh,
because he saw him go down. Okay, so the gangster scene, we have like gangsters from New York, Chicago, California, I guess, and they all are rivals, and they're all a bunch of fucking idiots.
Yeah.
What's with that trick pool table? Well, I didn't know this was a Hoods convention.
What is happening? That room is designed to just move about for no reason and show off its plan.
Well, that whole scene, it's not shitty. It's brilliant. The blend is brilliant.
It is brilliant, but you know what I mean. Like, why does he have like dioramas of it?
Well, I don't know, because the whole thing at the end is that he kills the freaking gangsters in the end anyway. So what is the point of spending all that time to show everybody the plan?
It's
totally for the audience.
That whole room is.
It's totally for the audience, and I don't really know how they would have worked around that. But it's just such a stupid thing to have him just kill them all anyway.
I didn't think he was planning on killing them. Maybe it's because he saw their response. I don't know.
Well, they all agreed to work on it with him, except for Solo.
Yeah, and then Solo, he kills in a really different, convoluted way when he could have said, "Yeah, Solo, stay here. I'm going to leave the room in a second."
It doesn't. The Solo thing makes sense. The rest of the gangster thing makes no sense.
Well, why does the Solo one make sense when he could have kept Solo in the
No,
room with the
it
rest?
makes sense. No, well, that's what I'm saying. But the Solo thing, it makes sense that he's the one that would be killed. It doesn't make any sense that they're
Yeah, it
killed
doesn't make sense. Oh, yeah. Bond's hiding in the Fort Knox diorama. Why is that hollow, and why does it go down to that weird area?
Well, that's where the pool table goes up. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. And he's writing down the information, and then Pussy comes and decks him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then Bond takes the little tracker and the note, folds it together, puts it in his pocket. But then he's going to stick it. He doesn't really know at the moment, but he runs into Solo, who's being taken away by Oddjob.
Yeah.
And then he sneakily sticks it in Solo's pocket. Hopefully Felix is going to find it. But the problem being is that Oddjob takes Solo to die. He gets crushed up in a
like a car compactor.
Yeah.
That's fine, and then Oddjob takes the car cube back.
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't get why he does that.
Because he takes it back, and there is like a funny scene where Felix passes Oddjob and doesn't even realize. But then once Oddjob gets back, and Bond realizes, well, that's fucked. Goldfinger makes a remark and says that they need to get the gold out of him. I don't know what was happening.
Did he get paid? I don't remember. Did the gangsters get paid? Because they all are owed something by Goldfinger.
They hadn't been paid yet.
He must have been.
The point was the heist was meant to be an even bigger payoff for them.
Yeah, but Solo didn't stay for the heist, so he must have been paid out front.
I guess, but then why wouldn't Oddjob have taken the payoff of him before he got him crushed?
I don't know, because Oddjob does just straight up shoot him before the car's crushed.
I think there was something cut from that they... I don't know.
Felix sort of gives up on Bond because the tracker dies.
Who's the other guy with Felix, by the way?
I don't know, some rando.
Felix is there at the farm watching, and Goldfinger makes a big performance of bringing Bond out after to make it seem as if Bond's okay.
Yeah, so there's a bit of tension built there because now we think Bond's a bit more desperate.
Exactly. And then this is where we get Bond confronting Goldfinger about Operation Grand Slam for real this time. I like that Bond at first just for because the intention is he wants to get all the gold from Fort Knox. He thinks it's a stupid plan, but once he realizes that the intention isn't to steal the gold but to irradiate the gold to make Goldfinger's own stock of gold be more valuable, he's like, that's genius. And it kind of is.
It really is.
Like if there weren't any casualties involved with the plan, that's like a bold business strategy.
Bond finds out about the plan. Thinks it's brilliant. There's a lot of great digs at Goldfinger that Bond says throughout the movie. Like when they first shows up at Oryx Studs and Oryx says, "What do you think about the horse?" or something, and he says, "Better bred than the owner." That's a good line. There's a lot of them throughout the film. A lot of dialogue is very clever in this movie.
Yeah, that's actually why I appreciate it even more that once Bond learns the intention of the plan, he actually commends Goldfinger, because I think he sort of underestimated Goldfinger at first, and now
for sure.
that despite being a fucking maniac, he actually is kind of clever.
I think so do we. I think we just think he's a big cheating scumbag,
Definitely.
But now we actually respect him as a businessman, and I'd go into business with him.
Yeah.
So when Bond realizes that he's pretty much fucked, I guess that's when he's like, okay, I gotta work at Pussy.
Oh.
But it's true though, because you think that's his only way out of it now.
Pussy and Bond leave, and that's why Felix thinks Bond's okay, just with fucking woman as per usual.
Well, they go into the barn where they have a
judo fight. So
yeah, but he really forces himself onto her. That's a bit intense,
that's kind of yikes, especially if you're saying she's not even, or at least in the book she isn't even straight. That's kind of
well, they imply it here, which is like the charm doesn't work on me, I'm immune, and there's a few lines where they sort of tease it.
It's still kind of yikes,
but we don't know what really the implications of that, if she's even turned. We don't know until a bit later, which is very clever filmmaking wise.
It is, because we'll talk about the plan in a second, but I knew from the get-go that all of those soldiers were fine. I don't know why I knew, and I don't know how they did it, because they never explain it, but I knew they were fine because Felix was there, and I didn't think Felix was dying because it wasn't presented right.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean,
it was good though. I liked it because it was only they present it as if they're dead. There's nothing other than my crackpot brain expecting otherwise. The plan. First, Monty Python's Flying Circus dropped the Delta 9. Is that what it's called? Nerve gas.
Yep, Delta 9 nerve gas knocks out everybody in the vicinity, all the troops.
Yeah, and apparently it's meant to kill them. But obviously, as we learn later, it doesn't. Why doesn't it do anything to them?
Because they didn't actually use the Delta 9 nerve gas. Pussy swaps it out.
Oh, I see. So she swaps it out. I just thought...
Yeah, okay, that's the big reveal. That she's... And also she contacted Leiter, so that's why he knew what the plan was.
Okay.
But Bond didn't know that. Bond thought... She didn't tell Bond. Because when Felix tells Bond that... When Felix tells Bond, what made her call Washington, he's surprised. He didn't know that was going to happen. He thought he was in deep shit still. He thought the plan was still going through as normal.
Oh, interesting.
When they break in and then they get into the vault, bring the bomb in, and then the Americans wake up or they start attacking. Yeah. And then they shut the vault and lock in Oddjob, Bond, and the other guy, Metz, I think his name is. No, that's from Diamonds. Oh. No, Ling is killed when Goldfinger turns. That's such a good moment when Goldfinger takes off his clothes. He's wearing an American Army uniform. He's got a golden pistol.
The very model of a modern Major General. He's trying to help the soldiers, and then as soon as they turn around, he lights them up.
Yeah, guns them down. Picks up the MP40, guns them down. He's just like his mom.
Yeah, I was just gonna say his mom's prized MP40.
Well, Bond is now locked in with the bomb. The assault is happening from the Americans. Yeah, so there's Metz I can't kill any Metz, but that's Diamonds. The guy, the other helper guy, tries to get out. Oddjob throws him over the side. I like that Oddjob sees that Bond's trying to get his gun after he's knocked him off, and he's scrambling to get down. Why doesn't he throw his hat? How does Bond break off of the bomb? Well, he does. I'm sure there's. He gets the key off of. Oh, from Metz. From Metz. That's I keep calling him fucking Metz. Yeah, the Oddjob fight is. I don't know. It's pretty much just Oddjob throwing Bond around for a couple. Yeah, I was just gonna say it's just Bond hits him and it does nothing, and then Oddjob launches him. He goes ah. I do like that the final part of that confrontation where Oddjob throws his hat, it cuts the electric wire and makes it fall. Oh yeah. Right. So Bond picks up the hat after there's a bit of a delay, and then Bond picks up the hat, throws it at Oddjob, and it hits those bars and gets lodged. And whilst Oddjob's thinking he's fucking all good and picking up his hat, Bond electrocutes the bars with that wire. I thought that was all fucking ace. Yeah, that's a good. I like his death. But then Bond is immediately shooting himself again because the timer's about to run out. What is that bomb design? It looks fucking stupid. And the fact that the Americans are coming down at the same time, they get the vault open. They basically overwhelm the Oddjob's guards. Oddjob's guards, Goldfinger's guards. Goldfinger's pissed off. We don't know where. They open the vault, and then the bomb defusal guy comes in and stops the timer at 007. And he just flips one switch, and Bond's about to fucking cut the wires. Bond's shitting himself because he doesn't know what he's meant to press, so he's about to pull two wires apart, and just before he does, the guy just comes up and flips the off switch. So he's freed. We meet up with Leiter, and then that's when that reveal is that Pussy switched out the gas. Yeah. So and then Felix is like, "Yeah, the president wants to host you to dinner." And this is funny because it's reminiscent of From Russia with Love, where it had the fake out ending, but it's not egregious compared to From Russia with Love. Yeah, so in the plane, and Goldfinger shows up with his revolver, and Bond's like, "If you're gonna," this is a payoff from earlier in the film when Bond says you can't shoot in the plane. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's supposed yeah. And so he shoots anyway, and the plane loses cabin pressure. Yeah, the plane starts doing a nosedive. Goldfinger gets the biggest suck I've ever seen. Oh no.
he gets
right out the window.
fat ass stuck in the plane window
Augustus
like
Gloop.
Augustus Gloop.
Yeah, that's a bit. You think the bit where he's like floating around that looks really bad, but it's funny though.
Yeah, that's so awful. But yeah, I like that ending for Goldfinger.
Yeah. Where's Goldfinger? He's playing his golden harp.
I like that they try and make out as if Bond and Pussy died in the plane
Right,
crash.
yeah, they'll show them jump out.
The next second, you can you see on the radar anyway, but then you see them they're searching for Bond.
And we get another classic Bond ending with Bond and the lady.
Yeah, he goes back under the parachute, and it's that would be so awkward. I like that we again get the preview of the next movie, which is Thunderball.
Yes, sir.
It says the end, and then what does it say? It's but not for Bond.
Not from something like that. Yeah. It says like the end of Goldfinger, but James Bond will return or something.
That's it. Yeah.
So discussing about our scores and stuff. I always talk about this film. This film is bigger than Bond. I mean, pretty much if you talk to anybody who's like our parents' generation, so in their 50s, 60s, right?
Yeah.
And you ask them if you're a Bond film, it's 100%, I would say, or 90% that they're going to say Goldfinger or Thunderball, because this was
a lab, but
this was the absolute peak of Bond mania. Goldfinger was the first blockbuster, really. I mean, there had never been anything like the Bond films, and Sean Connery was the biggest star in the world at the time. I mean, the Bond franchise, unfortunately, has never really had that again, except Skyfall maybe is huge. But Goldfinger was I wasn't alive then, but I can just, people who were, and my parents, who tell me that it was just this phenomenon that was insane. Everybody was seeing it multiple times, and so when you have to sort of take into account that those people are seeing this movie with rose-tinted glasses. They're not just looking at the quality of the film we are, because we're separated from that experience, the Bond mania thing. So I feel I often say to those people, okay, Goldfinger is great, but it's not one of my favorites, and they're like,
you
what?
say that to people who your parents' age, you fucking start an intellectual conversation. Well, Goldfinger's great, but you're looking at rose-tinted glasses.
No. Whenever I end up talking to somebody about Bond, which happens frequently, I mean, but we always end up talking. I always end up saying some point, it's great, it's very good, it's TDR and great, but I just think that people have sort of nostalgic feelings towards it,
Yeah.
And I'm not saying the movie is bad, because it's still very good, but I feel people always fillet me for saying that it's not the best Bond film, because I don't think it is.
So far, I think it is.
I still prefer From Russia with Love.
I can see
because
why.
I prefer the seriousness of From Russia with Love. I just think Goldfinger is a little bit too goofy for me in some moments. That being said, there's some moments in this film that are just so good they surpass the previous two films. So score wise, I gave Dr. No an 8. I gave From Russia with Love 9. I'm going to give it 8.5 Delta 9 nerve gas canisters out of 10.
Oh, that was my one.
I'll give it.
Okay, I got to think of one, but continue. You talk while I think.
So I think it's definitely better than Goldfinger. Some of the things that knock it down for me, the locations, for sure, I just find it bland.
Uh-huh.
I think villain-wise, Goldfinger's a very good villain, but he's totally different from the previous two films, villain-wise. So I prefer the menacing villain, but they don't always nail it, and when they don't, it really sucks, like with Spectre. I think Goldfinger, because he's the first of this kind of villain, he works really well. And just as a character, he's interesting. You sort of become invested in him a little bit because you're curious to see, especially when it's revealed that he's actually got this brilliant plan.
Yeah.
I think the Goldfinger, I think, actually has probably the tightest story of the three we've seen so far.
I'd agree
because
with that, yeah.
I can't think of any real plot holes. I mean, they pretty much explain it all brilliantly, and they sort of drip feed us and the characters. Like, one of the problems I have with the next film, just for a bit of foresight, is that they give the audience more information than the characters have, which is always a bad thing to do. You want to have the audience learning with the characters, which is exactly what happens in Goldfinger, which is why it's so good. You're never ahead of the characters, or at least you're never ahead of Bond, the main character. Yeah, so really the only thing, I mean, there's some clunky dubbing again, but we're just used to that now.
Yeah.
And just so the overall goofiness just knocks it down that 0.5% for me from Russia with Love. And I think From Russia with Love is more an authentic spy film than Goldfinger is. But Goldfinger is the epitome of a Bond film, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, and I can't deny the iconography. I mean, it's just so iconic. It's like a crucial part of cinema, Goldfinger, you know? I just, even though it's not my favorite, I love it to death. As a Bond fan, like a hardcore Bond fan, I'm almost like required to love it, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't have any problem with that. I mean, it's just a fun watch, you know? Yeah, I think the climax is exciting. I think Goldfinger's death is fantastic. Love it. Even though it's really clunky looking, but it's just fun. That's goofy too, but I can forgive that one. But also, I mean, as far as Bond girls go, Pussy's awesome. I really like her character. I don't know if I like her as much as Tatiana. I know you don't like Tatiana, but I like Tatiana for just her story implications. Pussy does save the day in the end, so maybe she is better. I mean, Honor Blackman's certainly a better actress.
I'd agree. Pussy's more of her own person.
Yeah, so maybe I would say, yeah, maybe I would say. Well, I was talking about Tatiana.
No, I know, but I said even Honey as well, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, she's definitely more of a character than, and she actually has a part of the plot, unlike Honey.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just 8.5 out of 10. Very good. Maybe not the perfect film that some people see it as, but still very good.
I'm going to give it 9 gold bullions out of 10.
Gold bullions.
Bullions. I can't say that word. Bullions. There you go. 9 gold bullions out of 10. I really enjoyed it. It was hard not to give it a 10, but I wouldn't give anything a 10, I don't think. I've loved all of them so far, but I like everything with Goldfinger. Like, I like his character and how he's got layers like an onion and looks like an onion. I do like Pussy Galore, but I also like Tilly Masterson as well. I like Felix, even though he's not in it as much as I'd like. Even though I'd agree that some of the settings are kind of awful, I do like Auric Stud.
Yeah.
And I like when they're driving around Geneva or Switzerland or wherever that is.
That's true. I forgot about Switzerland. That's a great location. Yeah. But that's a small bit of the film.
I mean, Grandma Goldfinger gives it... in fact, I don't know why I didn't give it 10 because of her, but still. The soundtrack was great. I like the visuals and the way it was shot. I do like this new director, I think. Some of his stuff isn't as good as the previous director, but I don't know. I like this one.
I think his general sort of stitching together is much smoother, honestly. Than
the editing and stuff like that.
But as a result, maybe some of the composition is not as interesting, you know.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I like the color palette, and I like there's something about it that it matched that it was, even though not everything was gold, it was all luxurious and stuff.
No, yeah, it was always sunshine and.
I mean, all the movies have had a pretty good color palette and stuff so far.
Right, well, that was a very fruitful discussion, which is good because next film I fucking hate.
Do you actually?
Yeah, I really don't like Thunderball. That's when I said before about how people praise that film too. That one I'm gonna rip to fucking Kingdom Come. So.
Yikes.
But Goldfinger, I think, is really a peak. I mean, it's really a peak of the Bond franchise. Not saying that every film after it doesn't reach to its grandeur. It does, but
yeah,
certainly in just sort of the public opinion of Bond, that and Thunderball, unfortunately, are the top of the top. I'm dreading this. I'm sure you'll love it, because fuck me.
But don't we have to review it again?
Shut the...
When we get round to what I think will be my favorite movie.
I'm dreading that even more. I'm not even going to say its name. I'm not even going to say its name again.
Say the name
Yep.